Guys, I have some packages to open. It's package day today. The TRAXXAS build has been waiting on these. Look at this. I already got excited and opened one of these little bad boys up. Welcome to Jacobus RC, where we buy, bash, and build used RC cars. So it's been a couple of weeks now since I had a chance to work on this TRAXXAS project build. You know when you guys order some parts like 3 weeks ago and then they all come out of the blue to your doorstep? Well, that's a good feeling. So one thing I actually noticed is that there's still a little bit of shipping delays with RC parts. You know, I not only buy used products, but I also support small businesses, so it's pretty understandable. If they got good products, they're gonna have a lot of customers and the shipping times are gonna be a little bit longer. Okay, so if you're new to the build series, let me bring you guys back up to speed real quick. The main purpose was to build a 6S beast following these 3 goals. The first goal being using as many used parts as possible that we can find for this thing. The second goal was keeping it under $300, and then the last goal was to make something unique, and I think that's what we got with this build right here. Alright, so in the first part I went and picked up the chassis. In the second part I 3D printed some parts, and I bought a couple other parts online that I went ahead and fitted on there, like the motor and ESC. And now we're on the third part. The total so far for the build is $164, but we still have some more things left to unpack. So with that out of the way, let's go ahead and unpack some of these things. Woo! Squishy. That is a sad looking tire. This one I already opened. Got a little bit too excited. They're my rear drive shafts. I already opened this one as well. My Fly Sky receiver, put that off to the side. I also went ahead and 3D printed some more parts, and I'll show you why in a second. This is just my opinion there. Let's move that off to the side. Motor mount part 2. If you guys saw this, that's where I 3D printed this. But I went ahead and created a more, what the heck, the pinion's over here again. I went ahead and 3D printed a more smaller, nimble motor mount. So we got boom, boom, boom that we're gonna put on our 6S beast right now. So I already went ahead and fitted these Techno drive shafts on the rear right now. If you guys want to see me wrenching and everything, then just leave me a comment down below. I figured I'd save you the boring parts and just already go ahead and install these myself. But I quickly wanted to show you guys a couple comparison clips of the old versus the new drive shafts. The old ones, extremely tiny. These are a lot beefier. Drive cups as well, they're kind of like almost 2 to 3 times the size. And then the freaking rear hub carriers, you can see the size is monstrous on these things. Because the rear hub carriers are so dang big on these Techno drive shaft kits, I was kind of worried that my wheels weren't gonna fit. And look, they don't even get close to fitting on this thing. They just rub really bad. So I'm having 2 troubles with these TRAXXAS wheels that I just bought for this project. The first problem is they're not big enough to fit over the rear hub carriers, and the second problem is if I wanted to keep this size wheel, then I need to pay attention to the offset. The TRAXXAS ones, you can see the face is a little bit more outwards. That means the offset is a little bit more positive. These right here for my Tamiya Stadium Blitzer, the face is actually a little bit more negative. You can see how deep my finger actually goes. And what that really affects is the hex mounting points, and I needed mine to be like this instead of like this. So I saved myself the trouble of trying to fit these onto there, and I bought these instead. Well, technically I didn't really save myself the trouble because I tried to 3D print some hex extenders right here, but I just realized that either way the axle pins are not going to be too short to fit. And I mean, that's okay. We'll save those for another project, but these are gonna fit perfectly. Oh, and by the way, these are DHK RazR stadium truck tires. DHK is long gone. I actually have a video on a DHK short course truck. You know, they made some good stuff, and these wheels were pretty affordable because no one even knows they exist anymore. And rounding off the wheel situation, we got this J Concepts combo of wheels and tires. The wheels are, I'm not really sure actually, I gotta look those up, but the tires are J Concepts Carvers. If you guys want the same exact parts that I'm going over so you guys can, I don't know, do your own build and copy some of these parts, I'll put a link in the description for everything. But yeah, I'm pretty excited about these things. I got these off of eBay for a darn good, affordable price. Oh, and by the way, I'll be going over the price of everything that I picked up at the end, so stay tuned for that. So switching gears to my 3D printed parts, because these are pretty much the bread and butter that are gonna make this build click. Of course, we already got a couple 3D printed parts on there already, but we're gonna have to add a couple more to make this build work, starting off with the front. So the top plate, not connected yet. Obviously, that's a problem. This TRAXXAS chassis wasn't meant to go with this TRAXXAS top plate. I think it needed a different one, but we wanted to make this work because we already bought the parts. I definitely had to figure out a way to not only connect the top plate to the rest of the chassis, but also give the top plate a little bit of a higher elevation so the bell crane kind of steering setup doesn't rub on the bottom. So I came up first with this prototype. Basically, it was supposed to mount at this point, and this point, all on one little bracket, but I didn't really like the look of this thing. Plus, it's a little bit flimsy. I broke tons of these prototypes while I was building them out, so this did not work. So I just went simple, back to the drawing board, and I ended up with this half rectangle right here. Basically, it mounts here, here, over here, and over here. It looks a lot sturdier, and I don't think it's gonna break as easy as those little brackets would. So this is gonna be what's gonna mount this side over here. And then to fill in the gap on the front, we're just sliding in this little triangle piece right in there. So the last piece of the puzzle is the motor mounts. The one on the right was too darn big to fit. Even on the last episode, I tried to cut up the chassis where the nitro fuel tank used to sit, but this thing just was way too big. So what I did was kind of downscaled someone else's design, which is, you know, this is someone else's design. Link in the description if you guys want to 3D print that. I downscaled it a little bit smaller, cut off any excess measurements, and watch. Look, it's a perfect fit. Let's put the rest of the pieces together and take it outside for its first spin. Alright, under this underpass right now, first inaugural run, we're gonna do a quick test, see how it goes. Yeah, it's all messy right now, but can't really help it. We'll have to do with how it looks, but let me turn this on, hit and there. Actually, first thing I noticed is that I'm gonna have to fix the steering when I get home. There's little to no movement, but let's do it. Oh man, this is bad. So at this point, you're probably thinking, hey man, just fix your mesh, fix your steering, and you should be good to go. So my steering, I definitely have to fix. I didn't want to push it because I had no steering, but the mesh is silky smooth. But anyways, if you watched the video so far and you liked the ingenuity that I put into this build, then be sure to subscribe. We have a lot more content still waiting to come out. Part 4 will clean up this little mess, figure out the kinks. We got a clear Lexan body to put over it. From a small business, I can't wait to share. So yeah, we'll catch you guys next time. You guys can probably hear the freaking metal gears grinding. Oh, this is terrible.